everybody, welcome to the Garage. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. The Court of Public Opinion is in session. Don't forget tomorrow's show, 9 to 12, live streaming around the dining room table. Special guests will be Professor Ian Plimer, Senator Bob Day, and Dr. John Bruni. And that's just the entree. There's a lot more to go. I thought I was going to be late coming to sit down and talk to you today because I came past the pond I've got up here, and I've seen it before, but this was amazing. There was a duck, mother duck, Mrs. Duck, and I counted them. There were 14 ducklings, 14 around her, sticking close to her, very obedient, doing everything she says. I don't know how she does it. I don't know how they do it. But when I finish talking to you, I'm going down to the pet store to buy some mealworms because I know they like those, and that'll be my good deed for the day. But they just look so beautiful. Maybe I'll maybe take a picture of them and show you next week. Something that is quite alarming, horrible really. A third of small businesses will close within 6 months. They want, they need, they should demand more energy bill relief, because that's the cause. All this financial pain inflicted by this Labor government's energy policy. And when relief is given, it's a rebate. It's a taxpayer-funded rebate. There's no point in providing relief with taxpayers' money. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. The next big, totally necessary debate will be immigration. Now, it's going on in other parts of the world as well, but the Libs are timid. They're trying not to offend anybody. There are so many migrants in Australia. We are a nation of immigrants. We are also the nation of "we're all right, Jack." So please, Susan, Susan with 3 S's. S-U-S-S-A-N? I don't know. It's got to be a backstory in there somewhere how that happened. Stop worrying about which ethnic group you might offend. Listen, when people come to Australia, they become Australian. Or they should. It's not about the origin of immigrants, it's about the numbers. A simple policy that says a sustainable number of immigrants. Now, I don't know what that is. Say 100,000. 100,000 a year. And that covers all the visas, any kind of visa. But that's the ceiling. That's what everyone has to work within. That's the ceiling. There will be a preferred list of occupations. Yes. You will need to speak English. You will need to embrace our way of life and to assimilate. Now, if the Libs want to win the immigration debate, that's how to do it in the Court of Public Opinion. And if they want to win the election, your slogan should be, "Make electricity cheap again. Vote Liberal." It's simple. People vote with their hip pocket, and everyone's hip pocket is hurting. Now, I want to talk to you about this. I don't know if you've seen it, the Adolescent Man Box. I'd never heard of that. What the hell is it? The Adolescent Man Box. It's something apparently put out by the Jesuit Social Services people. It says, boys who cling to manly or masculine traits are more likely to hurt other people. Described as a major study by the Guardian newspaper, males who are stoic, not wanting to be seen as gay or effeminate, were more likely to have bullied or violently or sexually assaulted someone. What an amazing conclusion to come to. I obviously don't know what the backstory to this research is and the subsequent story that's been published, but on the surface it seems absurd to say that a boy who displays, enjoys his masculinity, discovers it, is likely to become a violent criminal. Little girls, teenagers, young women clearly enjoy being female. They're feminine. In fact, little girls, I mean, you know, my daughter Amber, she was a little girl from the moment she was born. I kid you not. The story, that's about rubbing daddy around the little finger, you know. The story seems to be saying that a young man should be encouraged to be effeminate, to be acceptable. There is too much pressure on boys to be heterosexual, the story said. Now, do you believe this? What is wrong with this world? Is it going mad or is it gone mad? Or is it perhaps just woke? Too much emphasis on boys to be heterosexual. What do you want them to be? What? They are male, let them be what they are. Let them discover themselves. You can't equate masculinity with violence. Sure, there are men who are violent. Perhaps it is that the Catholic Church has an agenda, or just doesn't have that much to do with masculinity. I don't know. But make up your own mind, or perhaps you agree with the Jesuits. In any case, give me a call tomorrow, round the dining room table. 0491 65 68 60. jeremycordeaux.com. Tune in. You can go in on my radio, or you can just what's that thing called, Pete? You go looking for it. Google it. I Google everything. Could this be true? This is a wonderful story. You know Border Force. Well, the story is that Border Force bought at least 6 modern cray boats from Western Australian fishermen at about $500,000 a pop. The sellers had to sign confidentiality agreements. Spotted a Border Force boat, big boat, shipping these cray boats, shipping them, and this is where it gets to be unbelievable, giving them to people smugglers caught by Border Force trying to bring illegals to Australia in their old rickety, leaking, floating wrecks. Now here's the new boat. You get the new boat on condition you don't come back. Now, I'm all for trying something new, but this is ridiculous. Millions and millions of taxpayers' dollars given to criminals on condition they don't do it again. Here's a new modern boat, turn around, go home. If this is true, it's alarming. We're in the hands of some very naive, stupid people. What is stopping these people smugglers filling up their big new seaworthy boats with illegal immigrants and heading straight back to Australia? You guys are nuts. Taxpayer-funded stupidity, more of it. In a remarkable demonstration of trying to throw out the good in pursuit of the perfect, the Greens here in South Australia, in Adelaide, put up a bill to force every landlord to install the latest heating and cooling in every rented property. Air conditioning for all. Now these guys, who pretend to be really concerned about the shortage of rental accommodation, they wanted to confront landlords with a situation which would result, I would say certainly, in a massive jump in rents Even worse, people would sell their investment properties, thus reducing available accommodation and making that which is left much more expensive. The Greens are downright dangerous. What else is around? Oh yes, a little Trump side story. According to the London Telegraph, another BBC programme has been caught selectively editing a speech made by Donald Trump. Newsnight joins the Panorama programme with misleading and mischievous editing, leading to the resignation, of course, as you know, the managing director and the head of news and current affairs. Now, a local angle to this is Sky News in Australia says that the ABC is guilty of exactly the same thing. But so far, no comment from the national broadcaster and no resignations. 10 years after the Royal Commission into the Abuse of Children, the Attorney Generals of Australia met last Friday to implement a program which would continuously monitor child sex abusers, even if they move from state to state. It is amazing that it has taken 10 years and a Royal Commission which cost $200 million for this sensible measure to be implemented. A national working with children certificate could have been, should have been, put in place from the very beginning. Perverts should not be able to merely cross the border and carry on abusing children. But that's the way it's been for 10 years. Amazing. Something else had happened last Friday. This is also an idea that's been around 10 years. Health ministers from around Australia met to discuss mandatory health star ratings on packaged food. Now, would that influence the way you purchase products? Would it? Talk to me tomorrow about that. I don't know. The more stars, the healthier it is, these people say. I think it's probably going to end up a bit like the Made in Australia campaign, open to interpretation and manipulation. Yeah, talk to me tomorrow about that. 0491 65 68 60. Love to have you on the show. The Business Council of Australia, that's the, everything has an acronym, doesn't it? That's BCA. The BCA has determined that South Australia, here's a good news story, South Australia is the best state in which to do business. Victoria is the worst. A lot of it swings on this thing called payroll tax. South Australia is about 4%, and it kicks in later. Victoria, 6.8%, and kicks in earlier. But here's the question. Who, in God's name, would impose a tax on employment? I suppose a better question is, how would they get away with that? A tax on employing people. Why would any state who wants to get ahead do this? Scrap payroll tax. Business, industry, money, capital would flow immediately across the border to those states who scrap payroll tax. Just study the Laffer curve. And it basically says, if I can boil it down and put it in a nutshell, governments who cut taxes collect more money. I know that's counterintuitive. But here's a news flash. Oh, God. Jim Chalmers, our Treasurer, is considering a cash flow tax. A cash flow tax. Now, this character apparently can't differentiate between cash flow and profit. Profit is what you have at the end of the day, which is taxable. You've got to tax cash flow, so you want it coming and going. It's just like the unrealised capital gains tax. A tax on money you haven't made and don't have. And this guy's running the Treasury. God help us. Have I got time for one more? Maybe? Just talking about tax?
Yes.
Victoria, I firmly believe, is headed for a tax revolt. And a lot of it is to do with property tax. People are just not paying their taxes. I suspect because they can't pay their taxes. Well, the government has done a deal, $8 million. They're paying a debt collector to go around and collect the money. Now, can you imagine the rage people will have when the knock comes at the door? There is a tipping point, and that's when people revolt. This puts robo-debt into some perspective, believe it or not. We're here for the lovely people at the Rising Sun who look after us, and they'll look after you too if you're having an end-of-year Christmas party or an office function of some kind. 60 Bridge Street at Kensington. And if you're looking to sell a painting, you couldn't do it in a better gallery than Jim Elder's Gallery, Melbourne Street, North Adelaide, because when he has his final auction for the year, he will be selling some wonderful Australian and international and important paintings to the world, getting the best prices for the people who choose to sell. And if you're not sure whether you want to, you can give Jim a ring and he'll give you a free appraisal. The date is, oh, I see, got the wrong one. It's the 20th. Glasses. Thank God I don't need these wretched things for anything other than reading. November 20. American inventor Garrett Morgan. What a great name. I like that. Garrett. I told my first wife when we had Amber that I wanted to call her Gatling. I thought it was a great name for a girl. Didn't go down well. Amber, you could have been Gatling. Huh? American inventor Garrett Morgan patents his traffic signal design, adding a caution between the stop and the go. An important development in automobile history. 1923. I guess that's like the amber light, isn't it? Sherlock Holmes' first story, A Study in Scarlet, is accepted by publisher Ward and Locke with a payment of £25. Can you imagine what the copyright for Conan Doyle's, all the Sherlock Holmes books would be worth? Golly, that was 1886. 1931, on this day, Rolls-Royce acquired Bentley Motors. They merged on this day in 1931. And they'd probably still be going strong and not in the hands of, well, BMW own Rolls-Royce and VW own Bentley. So much for the war. What's more important, winning the war or winning the peace? It's hard to know. You will let me know if we're running out of battery or anything, won't you?
No, we're going okay.
So, okay. Yeah. No, it was all about the nationalising of the motor car industry, where we lost so many wonderful, wonderful brands, and that was a Labour Party thing, socialist thing. 1896, John Fowler, English engineer for London Metropolitan Railways, the world's first underground railway, dies at 81. That would be the Tube, wouldn't it? 1958, American puppeteers Jim Henson and his future wife Jane Niebel establish Muppets Incorporated, now known as Jim Henson's company. 1917, the first successful use of a tank in battle at the Battle of Cambrai in World War I, as Britain uses the technology to break through German lines. Same day, different year, 1945, the Nuremberg war trials begin as 24 Nazi leaders are put on trial before judges representing the various Allied powers. 1945. James Hardy. Oh, he was a lovely man. He was born in 1932 on this day. Winemaker, James Hardy and Son Wines. Yachtsman, skipper of America's Cup winner, 1970, 74, 80. 4 Admiral's Cup and Ocean Championships. Anyway, he's born in Adelaide to that famous Hardy family. He died in 2023, but he was born on this day in 1932. Leo Tolstoy, Russian novelist, Anna Karenina, War and Peace, dies of pneumonia at 82. 1910 was the year. Jack Brabham, driver. Jack Brabham finishes 4th in a season-ending US Grand Prix at Riverside Raceway to retain his F1 World Drivers' Championship by 9 points from Bruce McLaren of New Zealand. 1960. Robert Altman, American screenwriter, producer, director. MASH, The Player, Nashville, dies of a complication from leukemia in 81. 2006 was the year. John McEwen, the 18th Prime Minister of Australia, 67 to 69. That's after the Chinese submarine came and took the Harold Holt. Do you imagine he's sitting over in Shanghai somewhere doing noodles?
Running a dumpling shop.
Dumplings, yes, could be. Anyway, John McEwen, 18th Prime Minister of Australia, dies at the age of 80 on this day in 1980. They used to call him Blackjack. I don't think I ever talked to him, but I'd be nervous about asking him why he was called Blackjack. Blackjack. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. One more. Queen Elizabeth's home, Windsor Castle, catches fire. This day in 1992. 1995 on this day, Diana, Princess of Wales, admits that she cheated on Prince Charles in an interview, which is now kind of shrouded in controversy, really. She shouldn't have done it, of course. I mean, the interview. Anyway.
I just thought that.
I am not judgmental. I'll see you guys later. I got to go and buy some mealworm for the ducks. Thank you for viewing the Court of Public Opinion. I look forward to your company tomorrow morning around the dining room table. I'm Jeremy Cordeaux. Believe in yourself and goodbye from the Court of Public Opinion.